Hey fellow Vault Dwellers, it's Angry Tartar, and before we'll jump to today's video, I want to let you know that tomorrow there is no video, but I will be live streaming. Then if you are interested, I'm showing you some times and the thumbnail on the screen right now, and I already scheduled this stream. Then if you want to know exactly when it starts for your time zone, just in case I mess up something in here, then just go into the comments and I will pin a comment with a direct link to the stream. And about today's video, I want to talk more about DPS and weapon magazines and how those are affecting your DPS. And I had a plan to talk more about this when I was doing the video about what's the best automatic rifle, but it will be insanely long video and it was still requiring more research. Then I decided to do it here. I'm taking the Rad-X right now, which means that all my mutations are disabled. In the same time, I remove like most of the damage related perks. I keep a tank killer, and what else I keep? Like nothing. Yeah, that's basically a tank killer. There is no other damage related perks. There's some defensive perks, some AP regen perks, and let's see like the weapons will perform. I have prepared a list of the weapons. Let's start with Perforating Fixer. Perforating magazine on the Fixer, or other mods are the same. As you can see, those small miners are crazy tanky now, and you can see the reload much better as Speed Demon is not taking effect because I ate the Rad-X. Now let's see another magazine, Stinging. I used a little bit more ammo to kill him, and it's still quite a slow reload, but this is to give you some feel of those weapons. In a second, I will show you some numbers that I have prepared. I think I spent way too much time to actually prepare the numbers, make the calculations, and recheck them a couple times. And Piercing the Fixer, as you can see, Piercing is 20 bullets, but it's a faster reload. And to give you the feel, and by the way, I check it. I know that in one old video, but I already corrected it there in the description and explain it. First, I said that those magazines are not taking any effect, but they are. It's just not showing in the damage numbers. Like Perforating Magazine, it's about 20% extra damage from the Perforating Magazine. From the Stinging Magazine and from the Piercing Magazine, you have around 9% extra damage. And other magazines that do not have any perforating factor, then obviously doing nothing. And the numbers are always the same, they just do not reflect what the weapon is actually doing. And Swift Magazine, its improved capacity is 25 and faster reload. You will be able to see. Oh, yeah, disabling the mutations disable my ability to jump as well. That's a side effect. I would like to keep it without other mutations, but there is no options. You can see a crazy tanky mole miner. I need to use a little bit more bullets, but I have slightly faster reload speed with Swift Magazine. And here about the Handmade, I want to show you some crazy stuff. Can you see that? Look at the ammo count. It's 10. For the Piercing Handmade, for whatever reason, the magazine is reduced to 10 bullets. That's crazy. Swift Magazine is like what you would expect on every other rifle, it's 25. But Stinging Magazine, I reload it now and look, it's 35. For whatever reason, suddenly it's 35. It's more than it's supposed to be. And then Perforating Handmade is like every other rifle, 20 bullets for Perforating Magazine. Then Handmade is a little bit weird, as Stinging Magazine is giving much more benefits than otherwise you would expect, because you have armor penetration and it's bigger than a drum mag, because drum mag will give you 30, it's giving you 35 and giving you this extra 9% damage from armor penetration. So on average 9%, this 20% perforating, 9% stinging, piercing magazines. Those are average number. There are situations when it can be less than that, but we can say it's 20 and 9%. Now let me show you some numbers that I do have prepared, and I check it a couple times, then it should be accurate. If I made any mistake, Then I'm really sorry about that, but hopefully I didn't. I spent a lot of time on that, then hopefully those damage are accurate and those numbers are accurate. On the left, you can see all the weapons with different magazines that I have equipped. And apart from the magazines or other mods on those weapons were exactly the same. It's modded for VATS efficiency, and we'll be back into the VATS topic in a second, but first the raw number without VATS taking into the consideration. Effective fire rate, it's including speed demon, how fast you can fire when reload is involved as well. Then it's weapon, fire rate, and the reload added on top of that, and it shows as how many rounds you can fire per second on average. Then you can see the damage, the numbers are a little bit off for the handmade. I mean, it seems off, but those are accurate just because those magazine sizes are jumping like crazy up and down, like it shouldn't be. They quite bugged. And handmade is quite a good weapon and very popular. It's why I decided to include those damage. And Fixer is like representative for most of the rifles because they follow the similar rules. And for the video length and time that I do have available on my hand, I cannot show you every single weapon, and it will be too confusing, by the way. And DPS versus miner, it's what I calculated by myself, and those armor penetrating magazines and stuff like that, I estimated just by counting the pixels. On the screenshot of the health bar, you can see now comparison of the health bars with non-penetrating magazine, then you have piercing stinging magazine, and then you have perforating magazine, how much it does. And I just count pixel by pixel to get exactly how it's doing. And I was shooting tankier targets as well to get some feeling how many bullets I will need to use. And therefore I figure out it's 20% and 9% in practice. Those damage on the right, I have one more fixer. It's quad fixer with perforating magazine. And you can see the DPS is going like crazy, going up like crazy just because the reload is so much less frequent. The effective fire rate is going up by a lot. And below I show you some comparison. The first one is the damage increase thanks to using quad perforating fixer versus just regular perforating fixer. It's 66%. And then I compare it to Junkies the Fixer. And Junkies have two different values because it depends what kind of target you are shooting. Unlike the quad will give you the same DPS increase that will be only affected by your magazine. But the Junkies, I explained it in one video how exactly armor penetration in this game works. It's a long topic. If you want, you can check it out. But here, as you can see, maximum damage increase that you can expect from the Junkies Fixer is 73%, and minimum when shooting soft target, what means target with much lower damage resistance than your damage, you will get 50%. Then Quad Fixer is like in between those values. Then I can say Quad Fixer is comparable to Junkies Fixer. With this difference that obviously Quad Fixer, to achieve the same DPS, will use more rounds, then it's more expensive to use. But the DPS is really good. It's like comparable to Junkies, what means this is actually a great prefix for the Fixer. And as you can see as well for the magazines, like Swift magazine and perforating magazine are very close in DPS. And what's important, now we'll take a look on VATS action point cost, because it's important. If you do not have like super crazy AP regen, the AP cost in VATS does matter. Therefore, I will show you what's the difference between perforating and Swift magazine in VATS cost. And for that, we'll be visiting Super Mutant Behemoth. It will be great for this comparison. And before we'll start, I'm waiting still for Radex to expire, as I will need my jump and mutations back for this test. Those are the mods I'm using for the weapons. All are the same, only the magazine is changing. Then you can see powerful automatic receiver, align long barrel. Align long barrel is reducing AP cost. Align stock and forceful stock is reducing AP cost. Reflex sight dot is reducing AP cost. And suppressor, this doesn't matter, it have no effect on AP cost. And magazine, perforating magazine is actually AP heavy. and Swift magazine is reducing AP cost. Perforating magazine is increasing AP cost. Now I have on me armor pieces, are not very important here, but I have 2 armor pieces with AP refresh. I have Action Gear that gives me additional AP refresh, and I have Rejuvenated. Then when I drink a lot of water, I have even more AP refresh. Therefore, you should know that my AP refresh at this moment is way above average. And I have my tent in here a little bit flying just for the purpose of this testing. And I still don't want to do too much damage, then I will heal. And in this spot, the behemoth only can throw a stone on me and cannot actually reach me. Therefore, I can demonstrate the weapons on him. And first, we are starting with perforating the fixer and engaging the VATS, and I start firing. As you can see, I can fire the full magazine, and then I can fire like 12 more bullets or 11, something like that, and I'm out of AP. Now if I swap the weapon for the Swift Fixer, you can see what's going on now. I fired 25 bullets and it's like half of my AP bar, maybe even a little bit less. I can fire another 25 bullets and I'm not still out of AP bar. I can fire more. Yeah, I can fire like 60. Almost 60 rounds compared to like 20, 30 something, like twice as many rounds can be fired with a Swift magazine compared to perforating magazine. Stinging magazine is slight difference between perforating, but not as much, as I will show you now. I'm firing with a stinging magazine, 25 rounds. It's almost all from my AP, and I can fire, I can fire 9 more. Then it's total of 34 rounds. 34 rounds will deplete my AP bar, but Swift magazine over 60 rounds to deplete the AP bar. That's a huge difference. Piercing magazine, it's not really worth it if you saw the other numbers in my table, plus it still drain AP the same as a stinging magazine. That this is the one magazine I will not recommend for any purpose. And there is a perforating quad fixer. In VATS, the problem is that you need like a lot of AP, but at this moment I have full health, then normally I will have much more. You can see I have AP 295, and if I will go low health with my unyielding gear, my AP will be like 450 or even a little bit higher, which means that I will be able to fire a lot from this fixer. And if the AP is a really issue, then it's possible and you can go for like quick magazine for the quad fixer, but I do recommend perforating magazine. It's perfect match for the quad fixer, as you can get 80 bullets out of it, and if you do magazine that increase the capacity, it's not multiplied by quad legendary effect, then it's means you will get only 5 bullets if you put stinging on the quad fixer. That's not worth it. Then perforating or quick magazine are the options for quad fixer. And for the comparison at the end, perforating handmade. Handmade is generally a little bit more AP hungry, but it's not much difference. As you can see, it's 20 rounds. Yeah, it's 23 rounds and I'm out of AP. Handmade generally is a weapon a little bit more AP hungry than combat rifle and fixer. There is slight difference between rifles, how much by default they're using AP. And handmade is a little bit higher than a fixer. And if you feel like I missed something, then please let me know in the comments section. If you have questions as well, you can ask them, or you can just join the live stream and ask me live if you have more questions. Just keep in mind that the numbers I use for the table I show you and comparison of these rifles is only accurate for those rifles stated there, and you cannot just take it and compare with anything else, because it was a very specific situation that I used to compare them and to showcase what's the difference and how DPS is changing when you are changing your magazines, and included the quad, because quad is basically effect on the magazine size. And at this moment, thank you a lot for watching, and see you guys in the next time or tomorrow live.